I'm for business. Kate Moody is here. Hello, Kate.
Hi, Tom.
Back to more serious matters. Shall we talk about a new post-Brexit border check? Tell us more.
Yeah, well, Brexit's never a laughing matter, is it, Tom? Strict customs checks had been due to begin in July on goods being imported from the European Union to the UK. Those won't now be enforced until next January. The British government said companies had reported unprecedented challenges compounded by the coronavirus pandemic, and so it's decided to extend a lighter approach for an additional 6 months. The flexibility is only one way, though. The European Union has been enforcing those new regulations on British goods since the Brexit transition period ended at the start of this year. Exporters on both sides of the channel have complained of confusing and cumbersome paperwork requirements. Data due to be released on Friday is expected to show the impact on UK-EU trade. The European Central Bank will boost the rate at which it buys bonds to bolster the Eurozone's faltering economic recovery. The ECB kept interest rates at record lows and slightly raised its forecast for the bloc's growth from 3.9% to 4% this year. Asset purchases in the first 2 months of 2021 had slowed in recent weeks, although the overall program still targets a total of 1.85 trillion euros of bond buying through at least next March. Bond yields, or the rate of return, have been rising, which makes borrowing more expensive. But ECB Chief Christine Lagarde said the bank was taking action to ensure money can be lent as needed.
We will purchase flexibly, according to market conditions, and with a view to preventing a tightening of financing conditions that is inconsistent with countering the downward impact of the pandemic on the projected path of inflation.
Christine Lagarde speaking earlier. Well, let's check in on the day's trading action. The major European indices closed higher. Stocks in Paris and Milan outperforming on the promise of that continued ECB stimulus. Shares of the aircraft engine maker Rolls-Royce rose about 0.7% in London. Wall Street's also trending up. The tech-heavy Nasdaq surging over 2.5%. The Dow Jones and S&P 500 each hit new record highs in the first half of the trading session, up around 1 percentage point each there. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits for the first time dropped slightly last week to the lowest level since early November. 710,000 new claims were recorded across the country. That's still more than 3 times the weekly average before the pandemic hit. But it does suggest the pace of layoffs may be slowing as America's vaccination program gathers steam. More than 20 million people are still claiming some form of unemployment benefits. More than half of those are covered by the emergency pandemic programs, which had been due to expire this weekend. They were renewed as part of the $1.9 trillion stimulus plan, which was approved in a final vote by the U.S. House of Representatives yesterday and has just in the last few moments been signed into law by the U.S. President Joe Biden. You can see those images from the White House that have just been coming into us, this ahead of a primetime address. He's due to address the American people, explaining the aid that is included in this $1.9 trillion stimulus package and outline some of the next steps to continue helping American businesses and households. Well, France has been under a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew since January in an effort to contain the spread of COVID-19. This week, authorities in the east of the country have been enforcing restrictions for bakeries, which usually cater to shift workers. It's left some accusing the government of discrimination against those who don't have daytime office hours, as Yinka Oyatade explains.
This bakery normally lifts its shutters at 3:30 a.m., ready to feed hungry workers from the factory next door. But for the past week, it's been forced to change its opening time to 6 a.m. to comply with the national curfew. Now impatient customers flock to get their breakfast as soon as the bakery opens its doors.
Ça m'embête qu'ils ouvrent plus à 3h30, à 5h quand je sors du travail. Mais là, actuellement, je viens à 6h, donc je suis obligé de rester 1 heure à attendre.
For workers in the neighbouring Peugeot plant who start at 4:30 a.m, the new opening times have been hard to swallow.
J'allais pratiquement tous les matins prendre des croissants. Ah non, les lois à la con. Hein.
Frustrated with the change, unions have now decided to step in.
J'ai effectivement bien peur que les heures de couvre-feu aient été faites par des gens qui vivent dans les bureaux. Nous, on bosse 24 heures sur 24, 7 jours sur 7 ou quasiment.
Meanwhile, the bakery says in the past week alone, they've lost 100 customers a day.
Au niveau financier, il ne faudrait pas que ça dure trop longtemps, quoi.
This local politician wants a solution to be found as soon as possible.
Je milite pour le fait qu'on donne une dérogation, comme on a su le faire pour les chauffeurs routiers, sur les stations-service. Là, les boutiques sont ouvertes. Là, on a rouvert des restaurants pour les gens du BTP.
The Doubs Prefecture say they are watching the situation closely. They are set to offer alternatives in the coming week.
Another challenge for people who work different hours.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much indeed for that. Our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you.